Welcome, brave souls, to Whispers in the Dark, your go-to channel for spine-chilling tales and haunted histories. Here, we delve deep into the eerie corners of the world, where shadows whisper secrets and walls echo with stories untold. Today, we embark on a chilling journey along the rugged and windswept shores of the West Coast, a region renowned for its breathtaking beauty, towering cliffs, and most intriguingly, its haunted lighthouses. These solitary sentinels, standing steadfast against the relentless fury of the Pacific Ocean, have long been guardians of mariners navigating treacherous waters. But beyond their noble purpose lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, isolation, and the supernatural. The West Coast is home to some of the most iconic and enigmatic lighthouses in the United States, each with its own haunting tale that defies explanation. From the fog-shrouded cliffs of Oregon to the desolate shores of Washington and California, these beacons of light have witnessed countless storms, shipwrecks, and untimely deaths. It's no wonder that many believe these structures are imbued with an otherworldly presence, a lingering energy from those who once lived, worked, or perished within their walls. In this two-part series, we will explore the dark side of these coastal landmarks, peeling back the veil of their haunting allure. This first installment sets the stage for an unforgettable dive into the supernatural. We'll uncover the chilling legends behind some of the most haunted lighthouses on the West Coast, where history and horror collide in ways that transcend time itself. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your courage tested as we venture into the unknown. So grab your flashlight, keep your wits about you, and join us as we step into the shadows of the West Coast's haunted past. Let the whispers begin. The Lighthouse Keeper's Curse, a life of solitude and shadows. Lighthouses, with their stark silhouettes cutting through the horizon, evoke images of solitude, resilience, and unwavering duty. Yet beneath their noble purpose lies a darker reality, one shaped by the harsh demands placed upon their keepers. For centuries, lighthouse keepers were tasked with maintaining these vital beacons, often enduring extreme isolation, grueling labor, and perilous conditions. Their lives, though marked by a sense of purpose, were also shadowed by tragedy, madness, and whispers of the supernatural. On the West Coast, where the Pacific Ocean's relentless fury meets jagged cliffs and dense forests, the psychological toll of the keeper's existence became fertile ground for haunting legends that persist to this day. The life of a lighthouse keeper was one of unrelenting vigilance. Responsible for ensuring that the light burned brightly through even the fiercest storms, keepers faced punishing schedules, working around the clock to maintain not only the lantern but also the surrounding grounds. Supplies were often scarce, delivered sporadically by ships braving unpredictable seas. Medical care was virtually non-existent, leaving keepers vulnerable to illness or injury far from help. In remote locations like Cape Blanco in Oregon or Point Sur in California, weeks could pass without seeing another human soul, save for the occasional passing sailor glimpsed through binoculars. This profound isolation, coupled with the ceaseless roar of crashing waves and howling winds, had a profound impact on mental health. Historical accounts reveal numerous instances of keepers succumbing to despair or madness under the weight of their responsibilities. At Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, perched precariously atop a craggy outcrop off the Oregon coast, keepers endured what they called terrible tilly. Constructed in 1880, the structure required constant repairs due to battering waves and fierce storms. The first headkeeper, James W. Smith, reportedly suffered a nervous breakdown after just 6 months, claiming he heard voices urging him to abandon his post. His successor fared little better. Records indicate multiple transfers among staff members over the years, many citing mysterious illnesses or inexplicable fears as reasons for leaving. These patterns of psychological distress were not unique to Tillamook Rock. Across the West Coast, similar tales emerged from other isolated stations. At Battery Point Lighthouse in Crescent City, California, early 20th century logs detail strange occurrences during shifts when storms cut off communication with the mainland. Keepers described hearing footsteps echoing through empty halls, feeling phantom hands brushing against them, and seeing shadowy figures moving across dimly lit rooms. Some attributed these phenomena to stress-induced hallucinations, while others believed they were visited by spirits of former keepers, or worse, victims of shipwrecks drawn to the light like moths to flame. tragedy further compounded the hardships endured by lighthouse families. Many keepers brought their spouses and children to live with them at remote stations, creating tight-knit communities bound together by necessity. However, the dangers inherent to such environments often proved fatal. At Heceta Head Lighthouse near Florence, Oregon, legend tells of a heartbroken mother whose baby mysteriously disappeared shortly after birth. Devastated and racked with guilt, she took her own life, allegedly throwing herself from the cliffside. Visitors today report sightings of a ghostly figure wandering the grounds, a woman clad in Victorian-era clothing clutching something unseen to her chest. Her mournful cries are said to echo through the forest surrounding the lighthouse, particularly on foggy nights when visibility is poor. Shipwrecks too played a significant role in shaping the haunting legacy of West Coast lighthouses. Despite their guiding lights, countless vessels met tragic ends along these treacherous shores. At Point Reyes Lighthouse in Northern California, the skeletal remains of the SS San Francisco serve as a grim reminder of maritime disasters past. Built into the cliffs overlooking Drake's Bay, the lighthouse has long been associated with spectral apparitions linked to drowned sailors. Witnesses describe encountering translucent figures clad in oilskins, their faces pale and waterlogged, staring out toward the sea as if searching for salvation. Others claim to hear faint calls for help carried on the wind, growing louder before abruptly ceasing, a chilling reminder of lives lost to the unforgiving ocean. What makes these hauntings so compelling is their intersection with the physical environment. The very elements that define the West Coast, its rugged terrain, volatile weather, and vast expanses of wilderness, amplify the sense of isolation and dread. Fog rolls in suddenly, obscuring landmarks and disorienting travelers. Seismic activity shakes foundations, creating unsettling vibrations that rattle nerves already frayed by solitude. Even the flora contributes to the eerie atmosphere. Ancient trees twist skyward, their branches clawing at the heavens like desperate hands, casting grotesque shadows under moonlight. Together, these factors create an almost palpable aura of foreboding that permeates every stone and beam of these historic structures. As we continue our exploration of haunted lighthouses on the West Coast, it becomes clear that their allure extends beyond mere architectural beauty or historical significance. They stand as silent witnesses to humanity's struggle against nature's raw power, and sometimes, its ultimate defeat. Each creak of aging wood, each flicker of lamplight, carries with it echoes of the past, voices of those who once walked these halls, now reduced to whispers carried on the wind. To visit these places is to step into a liminal space where history and mystery converge, inviting us to confront the fragile boundary between life and death, sanity and madness. And perhaps, if we listen closely enough, we might catch a glimpse, or a sound, of something lingering just beyond the edge of perception. For those brave enough to heed the call, the next chapter awaits. Prepare yourselves, dear viewers, for deeper dives into specific sites where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs ever further. Until then, may your path remain illuminated, but beware what lies in the shadows. The haunting of Tillamook Rock Lighthouse. Terrible Tilly's eternal vigil perched atop a jagged, wave-battered rock formation nearly a mile off the Oregon coast. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse stands as one of the most isolated and forbidding structures ever built. Known colloquially as Terrible Tilly, this lighthouse earned its ominous nickname not only for the ferocity of the storms that battered it but also for the harrowing experiences of those who dared to call it home. Its construction alone was a feat of engineering fraught with peril, costing lives and testing human endurance. Yet, the true horror of Tillamook Rock lies not in its physical challenges but in the spectral legacy that continues to haunt its crumbling walls. Construction of the lighthouse began in 1879, a daunting task given the site's location amid some of the roughest seas on the Pacific coast. Workers endured constant assaults from crashing waves, gale-force winds, and the biting cold of the open ocean. According to historical records, the project claimed its first casualty before construction even began. A worker named John Trewavas slipped and fell into the churning waters below while surveying the site. His death set an ominous tone for the endeavor, and the men who followed him often spoke of feeling watched or uneasy, as though the rock itself resisted their presence. When the lighthouse finally opened in 1881, It quickly gained a reputation as one of the most dangerous assignments for lighthouse keepers in the United States. Life on Tillamook Rock was a test of survival. The keepers rotated in teams of 4, each enduring weeks of isolation with little respite. Supplies arrived sporadically, dependent on calm seas that were rare during the stormy winter months. Communication with the mainland was unreliable at best, leaving the men stranded in emergencies. The howling winds and ceaseless pounding of waves created an oppressive atmosphere, driving many to the brink of madness. Early logbooks reveal cryptic entries describing strange noises, groans emanating from the rock, disembodied footsteps echoing through the halls, and the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Some keepers refused to speak of these occurrences, fearing ridicule or reassignment, while others simply fled, unable to endure the psychological strain. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 1913, when a massive storm battered the lighthouse for weeks on end. Waves reportedly reached heights of over 100 feet, smashing against the tower with such force that chunks of granite were torn from the foundation. Inside, the keepers huddled together, praying for survival as the structure groaned under the assault. When the storm finally subsided, they emerged to find the bodies of 5 sailors washed onto the rocks below, victims of a nearby shipwreck. Unable to retrieve the corpses due to the treacherous conditions, the keepers were forced to leave them there, their decomposing remains serving as a grim reminder of the ocean's wrath. It is said that the spirits of these sailors never left the rock, their anguished cries carried on the wind during subsequent storms. Over the years, Tillamook Rock became synonymous with tragedy. In 1934, a fire broke out in the lantern room, forcing the keepers to extinguish the blaze manually while battling smoke inhalation and searing heat. Though they managed to save the structure, the incident left lasting scars, both physical and psychological. By the time the lighthouse was decommissioned in 1957, few wanted anything to do with it. Locals whispered of curses and malevolent energies tied to the site, warning anyone foolish enough to approach. Today, Tillamook Rock sits abandoned, its lantern dark and its halls silent, yet far from empty. Paranormal investigators and urban explorers who have ventured onto the rock report a host of unsettling phenomena. Disembodied voices, cold spots, and shadowy figures are frequently encountered, often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of dread. One group conducting a nighttime investigation claimed to see the apparition of a man dressed in turn-of-the-century attire standing near the base of the tower. When approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the faint smell of salt water and charred wood. Another team captured EVP recordings of what sounded like faint sobbing, interspersed with indistinct murmurs pleading for help. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of Tillamook Rock's haunting is its connection to the dead. Many believe the spirits of drowned sailors, shipwreck victims, and even former keepers remain trapped on the rock, unable to move on. Visitors have reported hearing phantom footsteps ascending the spiral staircase, only to find no one there. Others describe seeing ethereal lights flickering in the windows at night, despite the absence of electricity. Some claim to feel an icy hand gripping their shoulder or brushing against their face, as though trying to communicate a message from beyond the grave. Adding to the lore is the lighthouse's brief stint as a columbarium in the 1980s, when it was repurposed to house urns containing cremated remains. Although the venture ultimately failed due to structural concerns, the idea of human ashes interred within its walls has fueled speculation that the spirits of the deceased may still linger, drawn back by unfinished business or unresolved grief. What sets Tillamook Rock apart from other haunted lighthouses is its sheer remoteness and the visceral sense of desolation it evokes. To stand on the rock is to feel utterly exposed, dwarfed by the immensity of the ocean and the indifference of nature. The isolation amplifies every sound, every movement, creating an atmosphere ripe for paranoia and fear. For those who dare to visit, the experience is akin to stepping into a living nightmare, one where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur dangerously. As we reflect on the haunting legacy of Tillamook Rock, it becomes clear that its story is more than just a collection of ghostly encounters. It is a testament to the resilience and fragility of the human spirit when confronted with forces beyond comprehension. Whether viewed as a cursed monolith or a gateway to the afterlife, Terrible Tilly continues to captivate and terrify all who dare to gaze upon her weathered facade. and as the waves crash relentlessly against her foundations, one cannot help but wonder, are the spirits truly restless, or does the rock itself cry out for peace? The ghostly sentinel of Point Sur Lighthouse, echoes of the past nestled atop a volcanic rock jutting dramatically into the Pacific Ocean. Point Sur Lighthouse stands as a sentinel guarding the rugged coastline of Big Sur, California. Its striking silhouette against the horizon has long captured the imagination of travelers, artists, and historians alike. Yet beneath its picturesque exterior lies a tapestry of haunting tales that weave together tragedy, isolation, and the supernatural. Commissioned in 1889, the lighthouse served as a critical navigational aid for ships traversing the perilous waters of the Central California coast. However, its remote location and harsh conditions made it a crucible of human endurance, and a magnet for spectral activity. Point Sur's isolation was both its strength and its curse. Accessible only via a narrow dirt road carved into the steep cliffs, the lighthouse compound became a self-contained world unto itself. Keepers and their families lived in small cottages clustered around the tower, forming a tight-knit community bound by necessity. While the stunning views and proximity to nature offered moments of solace, the incessant roar of the ocean and the encroaching fog created an atmosphere of perpetual unease. Over the decades, this tension gave rise to eerie phenomena that have become integral to the lighthouse's lore. One of the most enduring legends revolves around a young woman named Kate, the daughter of a keeper stationed at Point Sur in the early 20th century. According to local folklore, Kate fell deeply in love with a sailor who frequented the nearby harbor. Their romance blossomed under the watchful gaze of the lighthouse, but fate intervened tragically when her lover's ship was lost in a violent storm. Heartbroken and inconsolable, Kate is said to have climbed to the top of the lighthouse one moonlit night, her sobs mingling with the mournful wail of the wind. Witnesses claimed to see her shadowy figure silhouetted against the lantern's glow before she vanished, leaving behind only her scarf fluttering in the breeze. Since then, visitors have reported seeing a ghostly woman dressed in white wandering the grounds, her form dissolving into mist as she approaches. Her soft weeping can sometimes be heard drifting through the air, particularly during foggy evenings when the beacon casts its light across the water. Another chilling tale stems from the mysterious disappearance of a keeper named Thomas O'Connell in the 1930s. A meticulous record keeper known for his dedication, O'Connell vanished without explanation one stormy night. Search parties combed the area but found no trace of him, leading to rampant speculation about his fate. Some suggested he had been swept away by rogue waves while performing maintenance on the lower levels of the structure. Others whispered of darker possibilities, pointing to strange entries in the logbook from the days preceding his disappearance. Phrases like, "The light doesn't shine right," and "Something watches me," hinted at a descent into madness, or worse, encounters with forces beyond human understanding. Decades later, paranormal investigators exploring the site claimed to capture EVP recordings of a man's voice muttering unintelligibly, interspersed with frantic pleas for help. Thermal cameras revealed fleeting heat signatures near the base of the tower, fueling theories that O'Connell's spirit remains tethered to the place where he met his end. The lighthouse's connection to maritime tragedies further amplifies its haunting reputation. Point Sur's waters have claimed numerous vessels over the years, including the ill-fated SS Montebello, which sank just offshore during World War II after being torpedoed by a Japanese submarine. Survivors of the disaster recounted seeing the lighthouse's beam piercing through the darkness as they clung to lifeboats, a beacon of hope amidst chaos. Yet, for those who perished, the light may have become a spectral anchor. Visitors to the site often describe hearing faint cries for help carried on the wind or seeing shadowy figures standing at the water's edge, their forms dissolving as dawn breaks. Modern-day accounts add another layer of intrigue to Point Sur's haunted legacy. Tour guides leading groups through the restored facility have reported equipment malfunctions and inexplicable temperature drops during tours. Cameras capturing footage inside the lantern room occasionally malfunction, producing distorted images or flashes of light that defy logical explanation. One particularly unnerving incident involved a security guard patrolling the grounds late at night. As he approached the base of the tower, he felt an overwhelming urge to flee, accompanied by the sensation of being followed. Turning around, He saw a translucent figure clad in oilskins staring back at him, its hollow eyes reflecting the pale glow of the moon. The apparition vanished moments later, leaving behind only silence. What makes Point Sur uniquely terrifying is its ability to evoke primal fears. The combination of isolation, natural beauty, and historical gravitas creates an environment where the mind struggles to distinguish between reality and imagination. Shadows stretch unnaturally, sounds distort unpredictably, and the very air seems charged with an electric tension. For those brave enough to visit, the experience is akin to stepping into a waking dream, one where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur dangerously. Yet, amid the terror lies a poignant reminder of resilience. The keepers who manned Point Sur's light did so not out of glory but out of duty, ensuring safe passage for countless mariners navigating treacherous waters. Their sacrifices, along with those of the sailors who perished nearby, imbue the site with a profound sense of reverence. To walk its grounds is to honor their memory, and perhaps to bear witness to the echoes of their untold stories. As we continue our journey through the haunted lighthouses of the West Coast, let Point Sur serve as a testament to the enduring power of place. Whether viewed as a guardian of the coast or a haunted relic of the past, its presence commands respect and caution. For those who dare to climb its spiral staircase or gaze into its lantern room, remember, the light may guide your way, but it cannot banish the shadows. The enigma of Battery Point Lighthouse, guardians of the grave perched on a rocky promontory in Crescent City, California. Battery Point Lighthouse stands as both a beacon of safety and a portal to the unknown. First lit in 1856, this diminutive yet resilient structure has guided mariners through treacherous waters for over a century, earning its place as one of the oldest operating lighthouses on the West Coast. Yet beneath its quaint charm lies a labyrinth of mysteries that defy explanation. From ghostly apparitions to inexplicable phenomena, Battery Point has become a focal point for paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike, drawing visitors eager to confront the spectral forces rumored to inhabit its weathered walls. The lighthouse's haunted reputation is deeply intertwined with its history. Originally constructed to warn ships of the hazardous reefs surrounding Crescent City, Battery Point quickly became a lifeline for sailors navigating the fog-shrouded coastline. However, its role as a protector came at a cost. The keepers who maintained the light endured grueling conditions, isolated from the mainland by tides that rendered access impossible for hours at a time. Storms battered the structure relentlessly, and the constant threat of flooding kept residents perpetually on edge. It is said that the psychological toll of such an existence laid the groundwork for the supernatural occurrences reported today. Among the most enduring legends is that of the Lady in Lace, a spectral figure believed to be the wife of an early keeper. According to local lore, she fell victim to a sudden illness and passed away within the confines of the lighthouse. Her grieving husband buried her nearby, unable to transport her body to the mainland due to stormy seas. Visitors claim to have seen her apparition gliding silently across the grounds, her flowing gown shimmering under moonlight. Some described catching glimpses of her face pressed against the window panes, her expression frozen in sorrow. Others recount hearing faint humming or the rustle of fabric, as though she moves unseen through the rooms. One particularly chilling account involves a tour guide who felt a gentle tap on her shoulder while locking up for the night. Turning around, she found no one there, only the distinct scent of lavender lingering in the air. Equally unsettling are the reports of disembodied footsteps echoing through the lighthouse's narrow hallways. Staff members conducting evening checks often hear the sound of boots clomping down the wooden stairs, despite knowing they are alone. In several instances, these phantom steps have been accompanied by the sensation of being followed, prompting individuals to flee the premises entirely. Paranormal investigators armed with audio recording devices have captured EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, suggesting the presence of multiple entities. One chilling clip features a low, gravelly voice responding to questions posed by researchers, uttering phrases like, "Leave me be," and "I'm still here." Such evidence lends credence to the belief that Battery Point harbors more than one restless spirit. The basement of the lighthouse serves as another hotspot for supernatural activity. Once used as storage space for supplies, the area is now largely unused, its damp, musty air heavy with the weight of forgotten memories. Visitors venturing into the depths describe feeling an oppressive chill that seems to emanate from the walls themselves. Shadowy figures have been spotted darting across the room, vanishing before they can be identified. Others report hearing muffled voices or the distant clinking of chains, reminiscent of the maritime tools once stored there. During a 2010 investigation, a team member captured a photograph of a translucent figure standing near the staircase, its features blurred but unmistakably human. Skeptics dismiss the image as lens flare, but believers argue it provides tangible proof of the lighthouse's haunted legacy. Perhaps the most harrowing aspect of Battery Point's haunting is its connection to nearby shipwrecks. Crescent City's coastline has claimed numerous vessels over the centuries, including the infamous SS America, which sank in 1941 after running aground during a fierce storm. Survivors recounted seeing the lighthouse's beam cutting through the chaos, offering a sliver of hope amidst despair. Yet, for those who perished, the light may have become a spectral tether. Visitors often report encountering apparitions resembling drowned sailors, their faces pale and waterlogged, wandering aimlessly along the shoreline. Some claim to hear faint cries for help carried on the wind, growing louder before abruptly ceasing, a chilling reminder of lives lost to the unforgiving sea. Modern-day encounters continue to fuel the intrigue surrounding Battery Point. Overnight guests staying in the keeper's quarters frequently describe bizarre occurrences that defy rational explanation. Lights flicker without cause, doors open and close on their own, and personal belongings vanish only to reappear in unexpected locations. One couple reported waking in the middle of the night to find their bedroom door wide open, despite having locked it securely before retiring. Peering into the hallway, they saw the faint outline of a figure standing at the top of the stairs, its silhouette illuminated by the dim glow of the lighthouse beacon. When they called out, the figure vanished, leaving behind only silence. What sets Battery Point apart from other haunted lighthouses is its accessibility. Unlike remote structures shrouded in secrecy, this lighthouse welcomes visitors with open arms, inviting them to explore its storied past firsthand. Guided tours offer a glimpse into the daily lives of its former inhabitants, while evening excursions cater to those seeking a brush with the supernatural. For locals and tourists alike, it represents a rare opportunity to engage with history in a tangible way. Yet, for all its charm and conviviality, Battery Point remains a place where the boundary between the living and the dead feels perilously thin. As we reflect on the haunting legacy of Battery Point, it becomes clear that its story transcends mere ghostly encounters. It is a testament to the resilience of those who manned its light, ensuring safe passage for countless mariners navigating treacherous waters. Their sacrifices, along with those of the sailors who perished nearby, imbue the site with a profound sense of reverence. To walk its grounds is to honor their memory, and perhaps to bear witness to the echoes of their untold stories. For those brave enough to visit, Battery Point offers a sobering glimpse into humanity's struggle against nature's raw power, and sometimes, its ultimate defeat. Whether viewed as a guardian of the coast or a haunted relic of the past, its presence commands respect and caution. For those who dare to climb its spiral staircase or gaze into its lantern room, remember, the light may guide your way, but it cannot banish the shadows. The Phantom Keeper of Heceta Head Lighthouse, a tale of love and loss perched majestically atop a rugged cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Heceta Head Lighthouse in Florence, Oregon, stands as one of the most picturesque and historically significant beacons on the West Coast. Commissioned in 1894, its gleaming white tower and sweeping views have long attracted admirers, photographers, and history buffs alike. Yet beneath its charming facade lies a haunting legacy steeped in tragedy, love, and the supernatural. Central to this lore is the enigmatic figure known as Rue, the ghostly keeper whose presence has become synonymous with the lighthouse's spectral reputation. Rue's story begins in the late 19th century, during the height of Heceta Head's operational years. Historical accounts suggest that Rue was the wife of a lighthouse keeper assigned to the station in the early 1900s. Described as a devoted partner and nurturing mother, Rue dedicated herself to maintaining the household while her husband tended to the light. Together, they raised a young family in the cozy quarters adjacent to the tower, carving out a semblance of normalcy amidst the isolation and harsh conditions of their coastal outpost. However, Their idyllic existence was shattered by an unspeakable tragedy. According to local legend, Rue gave birth to a child during a particularly brutal winter storm. Cut off from medical assistance due to impassable roads and raging seas, she relied solely on her husband's rudimentary knowledge of midwifery. Tragically, the infant did not survive, succumbing to complications shortly after birth. Devastated by the loss, Rue spiraled into a deep depression, her grief compounded by the remoteness of their surroundings. Some versions of the tale claim that she wandered the cliffs in anguish, clutching her baby's shawl, until one fateful night when she disappeared without a trace. Her body was never found, leading to widespread speculation about her fate, whether she had fallen to her death, taken her own life, or simply vanished into the ether. Since that fateful winter, Rue's spirit is said to linger within the lighthouse, forever bound to the place where her heartbreak unfolded. Visitors and staff alike have reported eerie encounters that seem to defy explanation. Among the most common sightings is that of a translucent woman clad in Victorian-era attire, her face obscured by a veil of sorrow. She is often seen standing near the staircase leading to the lantern room, gazing upward as if searching for something, or someone, lost to her. Others describe catching glimpses of her reflection in mirrors or windows, only to turn and find no one there. The faint scent of lavender, believed to be Rue's signature fragrance, occasionally wafts through the air, adding an unsettling intimacy to her presence. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Heceta Head, intrigued by its reputation as one of the most haunted lighthouses in America. Armed with EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and audio recording devices, they've captured compelling evidence suggesting the existence of residual hauntings tied to Rue's tragic story. EVP recordings revealed disembodied voices whispering words like baby and forgive me, while thermal imaging footage shows fleeting heat signatures appearing and disappearing without explanation. One particularly chilling episode involved a team member who captured a photograph of a woman standing near the base of the tower, her features eerily reminiscent of Rue. When magnified, the image revealed tears streaming down her translucent cheeks, a haunting reminder of her eternal sorrow. Beyond Rue's spectral presence, Heceta Head is also home to other unexplained phenomena. Guests staying overnight in the keeper's quarters frequently report disturbances ranging from innocuous to downright terrifying. Lights flicker without cause, doors open and close on their own, and objects are moved or knocked over without explanation. More disturbingly, several visitors have described being awakened by the sensation of someone sitting on the edge of their bed, accompanied by the faint sound of sobbing. In one instance, a couple claimed to have seen a shadowy figure rocking back and forth in a chair by the fireplace, its form dissolving into mist when approached. What sets Heceta Head apart from other haunted lighthouses is the emotional resonance of its ghostly tales. Rue's story is not merely one of loss but of enduring love and maternal devotion. Her apparition serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the lengths to which humans will go to protect those they cherish. To encounter her spirit is to confront the raw, unfiltered grief of a mother robbed of her child, a universal tragedy that transcends time and place. For modern-day visitors, Heceta Head offers a unique blend of beauty and mystery. Daytime tours provide insight into the lighthouse's rich history, while nighttime excursions cater to those seeking a brush with the supernatural. Whether you're drawn to its architectural splendor or its haunted allure, the lighthouse demands respect, not just for its role as a navigational aid but for the lives it touched, both living and departed. As you ascend its spiral staircase or gaze out at the endless expanse of ocean, remember, the light may guide your way, but Rue's whispers linger in the shadows, waiting to share her story with those brave enough to listen. As we draw this first chapter of our haunted journey through the West Coast lighthouses to a close, let us pause to reflect on the myriad stories that have unfolded before us. From the spectral sentinels of Tillamook Rock to the ghostly echoes of Battery Point, from the tragic love story of Heceta Head to the eternal vigil of Point Sur, we have encountered a tapestry of terror woven with threads of history, emotion, and the supernatural. These lighthouses are not mere structures of stone and steel, they are living monuments to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of memory. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, it breathes, it whispers, and sometimes it screams. This exploration of the haunted heritage of the West Coast is far from over. In part 2 of our series, we will venture even deeper into the shadows, uncovering more chilling tales and forgotten legends. We'll step into places where time seems to stand still and the veil between worlds grows thin. Whether you are a skeptic seeking intrigue, or a believer chasing goosebumps, the next installment promises to deliver an unforgettable descent into the unknown. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the darkest corners of history often hold the brightest truths. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the haunted heart of the West Coast. Keep your lanterns lit. We'll see you soon.